He's already staying really tight, okay? And I'm gonna force a way to get him open, right? So I have that same grip here, okay? And I have a grip here. I'm just gonna come up for a second while I keep my chest on him. And I'm gonna drive my knee through this hole right here, okay? Right at his stomach, drive through. Okay, so I've made an opening, but he's still not giving me much, right? Without showing too much, I'm just gonna open my knee on the inside of his elbow like that, right? Just to flare his elbow open a little bit. Then my hand's gonna just come to the floor, okay? My hand is basically just gonna mark the spot so that my knee can kind of relax a little bit. But when he tries to bring his hand back, he can't really bring it back, right? It's just stuck in that position. He's not too worried about his hand right now anyways, okay? Now my heel is gonna come up and take the spot of my hand. Okay, take the place of my hand, right? He's still here. So now I'm just gonna slide down his wrist with my shin, okay? Lock my legs together and get a straight arm bar here. Okay, so we have this first option to finish, okay? Again, the knee comes inside, boom, right here. Okay, I'm gonna try not to make too much space as I come up. Okay, so my knee comes in, but my chest stays heavy on him here. As my knee drives through, I open my knee towards his elbow, put my hand on the floor. Okay, you can come right here and catch it, but usually guys are too smart for that, you know, guys that have been here before. So I put my hand on the floor so my knee can kind of relax, and he just gets kind of stuck with his hand, just slightly isolated. As I come down to collect his arm, I pull my heel towards my butt, and I slide my shin down towards his wrist, and my hips coming forward is what's gonna finish it, okay? Sometimes here, as another option, you may pass it off, or he may turn his arm in this direction so his elbow points down, okay? And I'm just gonna keep his arm under my calf here, okay? My hand's gonna come together in Kimura grip, and I'm gonna do a sideways roll while maintaining my heel towards my butt, twisting his shoulder, make him go with me. Okay, entering crucifix. When I land here, I don't wanna stay here. I'm gonna use this foot to hip escape and bring his hand towards the floor, okay? Now from this position, we have a few options. One, I'm gonna just open up, pass the lapel, come back to his wrist, just above his wrist actually, so half hand, half fingers, okay? And I can finish the crucifix in a few different ways. One, I'm bridging into his neck and driving my wrist into his neck, okay? So I'm driving inward with the blade of my wrist, okay? One, I'm bridging into it. Second, I drive forward and bring my shoulder behind his neck. This one I really like. It's staying really tight. I'm driving my shoulder forward as I then pull back with the wrist, okay? But his arms are completely tied up, so he cannot really defend, all right? And lastly is the no-gi version, okay? Here, the way he is, I can't really reach too far around his neck, so I'm gonna use my bottom knee to bump him up. Okay, as he now came up towards my chest, I can reach my arm much farther around his head, and I get my fingers as far behind his neck as possible. Okay, I'm gonna look down and support the back of his head with the back side of my head as well, okay? And this is the no-gi version here. As I pull my elbow back, I can finish right here. Okay, when you do this version, make sure you get your arm as deep as possible. Like my shoulder wants to come all the way to his ear. Right? If I feel my shoulder behind his head here, I won't be able to get far enough. So in order to get that deep, I want to use this knee. I bump him up, okay? I come around, I get a nice deep grip, my head supports. I drive his head into my arm as my arm pulls back into his neck, okay? And all the while I'm controlling him right here with this grip. As an alternative to this grip, you can also, as you're doing these submissions, put your hand behind your head, okay, and do all the same thing as well, okay? But I like to have this grip here. This is really nice, strong control, okay? And one more time. Turtle position, I make my first grip, my chest stays on him, my knee comes in. Open, hand plants, my heel with it, my foot flex, collects it like a hook, okay, slide down, finish straight arm bar here, or pass it off to the other leg. Okay, and we have this option here. Now, it's important that it's with this leg so that I can pull his arm. Notice how his hand, with my legs, I pull his wrist behind his back, right? So he has to forward roll with me. If he doesn't, he'll tap there, right? But everyone's gonna go. I don't wanna be flat, I wanna be on my side, a little hip escape, and we're gonna just try our submissions from here. One, hold, kind of bridge into it. 2, shoulder behind the head, finish here. And 3, I gotta bring him a little bit higher, get my arm nice and deep, all the way behind, and my head supports his head for the finish right there. Okay guys, let's give it a try to crucifix. 1, 2, 3.